Hello and welcome back to Rimworld. Now, this time we will not just be showcasing a fancy biome, although we will be doing that as well, but we're looking at a series proper. Now, I wish I could promise you it's going to be a long one and it's going to have a satisfying conclusion, but the sad truth is, at any point, my computer might be like, nah, enough, and it will have to die, because, let's be honest, you wouldn't want to watch it at 10 FPS and I wouldn't want to play it at 10 FPS. So, let's hope it doesn't come to that, but you have been warned. Now, this is going to be a heavily modded series. And by heavily, I mean that's quite a lot of mods. And if you're not interested in seeing what mods are there, and if you're not interested in the rules of the playthrough, the pawns, all the colony, all of that stuff, then you can just go to the next episode, because there will be no gameplay in this one. I will be just going over this list, I will be going over the rules and all the other shenanigans that may come. So yeah, let's get to that. Okay, so what are we up to here in general? Well, this is going to be a challenging series, but it's not going to be a challenge series, because I'll be honest with you, I'll let you in on a secret, I'm not a god at this game. And if I were to go with everything I have planned and then slapped a 500% threat on top of it, it would be a slaughter. And I would be the one getting slaughtered, and that's not the kind of slaughter I enjoy personally. So, we're going to go with the Naked Brutality preset, but that's not brutal enough. So I'm going to go to Scenario Editor, Edit Mode, and I'm going to change it to a new tribe. Because otherwise, we would get things like electricity research for free. And that's just gross. So we're going to be appearing standing. What do we have here? Minor surgery, nah. Mushroom, rave. Drop pod doesn't fit in the jungle. Not mangle, jungle. Can you survive? And this stuff here, it's just going to be the jungle welcomes you. Right, that's ominous enough. All right, so difficulty. Now, before you could select a preset and then you went to custom and you had all this preset set up here, but now it doesn't work anymore. But I remember that threat scale on Losing is Fun was 220, so let's just go 250 on the account that I have played this game before. And while I don't want to get decimated instantly, I don't want it to be easy. I don't remember what all of this was on Losing is Fun, so I'm just going to ignore it. I'm sure it will be fine and scarier. I'm just going to turn it off because I don't like it. We're playing in the jungle. It's not like meat will be a problem. I just find it annoying, so I don't want it. I don't remember. I think that's going to be fine. This is like sometimes useful, but I don't want this. Feels like very cheesy. Also, this does as well. I think we will be using a mod called Death Rattle to do kind of the same thing, but also I think this setting, if you were to set it at 0, it will prevent stuff like destroying a liver or destroying a heart, and a mod called Death Rattle allows the enemies to destroy those organs, but gives you some time to actually save your pawn, which I think is a nice compromise. I think that's going to be what we will be choosing, and then it will be a different seed. It doesn't matter right now. It's just to showcase stuff. So let's showcase some things. One thing I will be changing is that we will be starting, this is just some useless errors, don't worry about them, it's just player faction blah blah blah. I think it's the rumor has it mod. So the one thing that we will be doing here is I will be setting all of the factions manually to be hostile to us at the start. Why? Because it fits with the idea of just playing a weird jungle tribe that nobody likes. And if we want to have any friends, we will have to make those friends by doing quests, capturing and releasing them, bringing gifts, stuff like that. I like the idea of moving up in the world, which also means at the start we will have no traders, nothing like that. And that also is one of the reasons why a high difficulty would be pretty bad. And so, our pawns. We will be using Prepare Carefully with a preset where we will be starting with one character. And I will be removing those skills manually with Character Editor once we load into the game. Yes, I know you can choose, I think, Bully and Game Developer here as an Easter egg from the creator of the game, but since we are going tribal, that just doesn't fit. Not a problem. One moment in the game. Now, here's the fun part. We will be playing a game called the Pawn Roulette. What it means is these 29 pre-made pawns are the only pawns we are allowed to accept into our colony. They can spawn in raids, which makes raids feel much more exciting because the reward is potentially much greater, just to see if one of them came there so we can actually get some additional help in the colony. That's very fun. They can also come with traders and we can try to arrest them. It's always a difficult choice. Do we go to a war with a faction to arrest the pawn? How do we even make that happen? We can try to do some, fancy trappings and whatever. It's just fun. And it also adds a lot of difficulty, especially at the start, because if you have just one pawn and you cannot just take any warm body that drops onto your map, well, it's going to be quite a struggle, but each of the pawns will feel special. Now, they are not amazing. They are alright. They have some proper passions. They don't have the most annoying and boring traits, although some of them do have. We even have a wimp, which is one of the worst things you can possibly have. They are generally kind of balanced. If they have something very strong, they also have something that's pretty bad. It's not to make the game easier, it's to make the game weird, fun and rewarding. And also the fact that they all have 5 traits allows me to showcase a lot more interesting traits that come with mods. So that's always a good thing, I find. I think that's the biggest thing. Oh, there is one more. We will be starting with a cat of all things. And if you know anything about Rimworld cats, they are useless. But the cat will be the leader of this colony. So the cat has to live. And we will do anything we can to keep the cat alive. I will try not to save scum at all in the series, because that's really not fun. But if the cat dies despite all our efforts, or if Tasmin dies because it's her story, I will have to reload, because otherwise the series would just be over. And if it happens early on, I'll probably just restart from save 1 or whatever. But that's the small caveat when it comes to save scumming. If one of those guys dies, which will be obviously a big problem since we have just 29 possible, well, too bad. We'll try to get a Resurrector Serum or something like that. But the cat and Tasman, they have to have some plot armor. And as we all know, not even a mod, not even Glitter Words or Glitter Tech, however it's called, has armors this powerful. Although their beta poly stuff is just disgusting. Okay, so I think that's going to be it. And speaking of mods, let's talk mods. Mods. Who doesn't love mods? Alright, so there is so many of them. Let's try to do this in a somewhat organized fashion. So, housekeeping mods. We have Runtime GC. This mod, I've heard, can cause some trouble. It can break some quests or whatever, but honestly, it's godsend. If we start to drop FPS massively, there's a fair chance it can save our game, because if I purge ward pawns, I can get like 40 FPS sometimes. It's ridiculous. I don't know, maybe since I've played the game last, it's actually gotten a little bit better at managing the word pawns, but if not, I'd honestly rather have some broken quests than have this not be usable. I'll try to avoid it for as long as we can, but this is our saving grace probably. We also have Dab's performance analyzer, and I want to give a huge shout out to those guys. Dabs and his Discord and people that sit there and help people, they're amazing. If you have trouble with Rimworld, if you have trouble with mods, this is the place to go. They give good advice, solid advice, researched advice, and they will help you make your game not make you cry. When I was starting to play Rimworld, I went to the workshop and I was like, oh my god, so many mods. These mods are so amazing. And I just installed all of them. And then I was like, oh my god, they all seem to work. This is just incredible. It's not at all like Skyrim where everything was breaking if you didn't know what you were doing. And then I started to play and like I had 5 pawns in my colony and I also had 5 FPS in my colony. So I finally found this Discord and those people knocked some sense into me, told me which mods will absolutely kill your game if you use anything but the single evil mod or anything like that. So if this playthrough works at all, if we manage to play for a little while longer than just like 1 year in game, then that's thanks to guys in Dabs Mods Discord. Big thanks, big hugs, all of that. We also have Rocketman, which should help us a little bit with performance in general. Ticks per second, so we can see if we are approaching death, and that's all for the housekeeping. Now, if you are at all vigilant, you've probably noticed there is a ton of vanilla expanded mods in this loadout, and that is true. You are absolutely correct. We have most of them. I don't know, there's probably some brewing one of mods, or maybe not even. I think we also have those. I don't have the cosmetic buildings thing from them. And maybe some weapon mod, maybe. Most of it is here, because those mods are honestly great. Then there is Vanilla Achievements Expanded, which is the first time I would be playing with it, but it honestly sounds really fun. You gather points for completing various achievements, and then you can, for instance, cause a random event, you can cause some random drop pods, you can even summon a raid, which I can already see how useful that can be. For instance, you're getting raided by mechs, and you're like, oh no, we're gonna die, and you can try to roll another raid and hope that it's some faction that can distract the mechs or fight them. Or, you can get a second mech raid and just get annihilated, which would admittedly be pretty hilarious. So I'm very excited for this. And we also have the mod Alpha Biomes, of course, because we will be playing in the Feralisk jungle that comes from this. We also have Alpha Animals to complement it, of course, and that also ties in with the achievements. So we will have some animal achievements to look at as well. I have no idea what they are. I have no idea how many they are. We will be discovering it together. Now, going off the Vanilla Expanded, we have faction mods. We have the Insectoids, we have the Medievals, we have the Settlers, we have the Vikings, and we have the Mechanoids. I have not played with Mechanoids before. Very excited to see what this is about, if it's anything like the other ones, especially the Insectoids, which is really cool. Then it's going to be really cool. Now, another faction we have is a faction from the Sparkling Words. It's called Blue Moon Coop, because I like unique factions that are not all the same, and this one has been recommended to me. I don't want to use the entirety of the Sparkling Words mod because, as far as I know, it allows you to craft things that are normally quest rewards and otherwise uncraftable, extremely strong things like Glitchwood Medicine, Resurrector Serums, all of that stuff. I think it's more fun to try to get those from quests, and if we cannot, we also have Real Ruins. I don't know what the settings are that make this mod balanced. The last time I played it, it was not balanced. So I will not abuse this. To the best of my ability, I will try to just, we will go rarely to the ruins. We will try to avoid any sort of cheese there. And if it's still OP, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments what sort of settings I should use to make it rewarding but fair. Now, as far as exploration goes, we also have Monster Hunt if we want to build some trophies and see some other monsters, and we have Go Explore, which is a small mod that also gives you some stuff to do outside of your base. And of course, Set Up Camp. I cannot play without this mod. It's so amazing. It allows you to see all the other biomes without setting permanent bases there, and it gives you an option to go scavenge for resources in a more interactive way than using the deep drill or the quarry, which are both not that great. I mean, they are great. They're just not very interactive or interesting. Not like Set Up Camp where you can just go and find stuff in the mountains around and stuff like that. Coming off with the factions, there is one more faction, actually two more factions we have. One of them comes from Cytec. And it's an actually very interesting faction because they have sorts of magic abilities. Well, they are obviously not magic, they're psi abilities, psionics. You can also have them in your colony. I've never done it. I've only fought them before and not very often because I haven't really played that much with this loadout. I think that's very cool. I really like to have varied factions, especially ones that do something different, that come with some actual unique stuff. So that's great. I don't know if we will be making our pawns psionics. Maybe. Who knows? And yeah, the other faction I've mentioned comes from the Antimatter Annihilation, and this mod sounds like it's incredibly overpowered, but honestly I don't think it is that overpowered. It's nothing like Glitter Tech or anything like that. It's nice. I think it's very well made. I just played a little bit with it, also mostly fighting the people. I haven't built anything from it. Maybe that's where it gets OP, but we're also running Rim Atomics, so they will probably just go hand in hand, and they also come with their high-tech faction that should provide some late-game challenge, which is absolutely great. Speaking of Rim Atomics, we also have Rimfeller or Rhymefeller. I don't know how to read this. I will mostly be saying Rhymefeller, I don't care. Having this here means that if I have any sort of nuclear reactor in vanilla expanded power module or whatever, that's banned. We are not allowed to use this. If I find another nuclear reaction in, I don't know, Antimatter Annihilation or anything else, no, banned. If we want nuclear power, we're doing it the proper way. This mod is honestly amazing. And if you've never seen it before and will get far enough into the game that I can showcase it, you will see why. You will see why. This is also great. I don't know if we will be going for Oil Empire this time. I've played with it before. Maybe we will just go straight into Rim Atomics this time, but they are great. I also have bad hygiene because immersion, right? Okay, so traits. Where are traits? Yeah, like I said, we have all those spawns. Each of them has 5 traits, and that's because we have vanilla traits extended, we have consolidated traits, and we have Molloy traits, which means we have a lot of traits, and some of them are really fun and really worth showcasing, so I hope that will help do that. Now we do have some more biome stuff, but we will not be playing there, so I don't know how much we will see from that. This is actually very pretty. I've played on it once, but this time we're going for a challenge, so we're going for a Feralisk jungle, which is definitely much more difficult than Volcanic Ice Sheet. But if you want to play on Ice Sheet and want to see something more varied, interesting, colorful, this is your mod. It's honestly gorgeous. This is just some little tweaks, menus, all of that. Some sort of pawn behavior. We have Yao's combat free. We don't use ammunition system because that's just too much micromanagement for a series that's going to be pretty heavy on that anyway. There's the Death Rattle I've mentioned. We also have the Ogre Stack. We are not using deep storage because it has limitations. You cannot fill all the storages or it will cause you to have some FPS issues. and I am a hamster at heart. I love to collect things, and if I cannot fill my storages with my collections, then I'm not interested in them at all. I would rather get Ogre Stack and just stack things on the floor in big, beautiful, collectible stacks. There's small tweaks, nothing really that important to talk about. I don't think there's some visual mods, textures, hair. Of course, there's a lot of hair mods. Why wouldn't there be? Small additions. You will see this in game. And then we have our animal things and such additions. We have alpha animals. We have magical menagerie, which I have adjusted in the files so that those creatures are actually much rarer than they should be in the mod. Basically, if say one of them had a chance of 0.1 to spawn in a given biome, now it's going to be 0.001 on all of them, because they are mythical creatures and they have a nice lore that fits Rimworld, but I still like them to be extremely rare. So if we find one, it will be like, oh, it's an actual unicorn! You know. And then we have Forsaken's fauna. It's really nice. It fits nice. And if those guys come, I have edited them as well as the Royal Frambos, so that they are compatible with the dog set prosthetics mod. And I'm not going to cheese it. I'm not going to tame some Trumbos and then make them into extremely powerful bionic unicorn stuff. No. The only reason I've done that is that if we have them as pets and something happens to them, we can actually save them, help them, give them back their legs and whatever. They are not going to be, we're not going to be breeding stuff like this to be battle animals, because that's cheap. I mean, no shame if somebody does that. No, I'm not judging, but not for this series. I generally really don't like to cheese things and exploit things in games, so if I can avoid it, I will. We also have some mechanoid mods, which I think they are absolutely great. And some more mechanoids also come with alpha animals. And of course, all of the vanilla expanded animals. They are great. Medical system expansion, vanilla events, sparkling word events, because more events are great. We have peri-persistent, and also we have hot seat. Now, the way we are going to use hot seat is actually, I will be using it to swap a storyteller once a year. Because I actually played with this mod before, and it was swapping the storyteller every event sometimes like every quadroom, then again on event and stuff like. Basically, you didn't feel any storyteller truly. So I think swapping them once a year will be much more impactful. And also we will only be using 3 storytellers, which is Cassandra, Randy, and Perry. Because Phoebe would be too boring and easy. Empress Evil also boring, not easy. She just gives you bad events. That's not really fun. And Igor Invader, that's just not... This is not the point of the series. It's just way too difficult. And also, we don't want to be raided every 2 days. Now, we also run with soft warm beds. And you might be like, why are you talking about such irrelevant mod? It's just beds. Listen here, pal. This is one of the most difficult mods early on in the game. Especially if you go tribal in some insane jungle. Basically, you cannot have good sleep quality if you don't have fur, skin, leather, something like that. And also, there are some kind of leathers and stuff that gives you more sleep quality. So if you make a human leather bedroll, it's really not going to be that great. It's still going to be better than sleeping on the ground though. So this is actually, it's like, it seems so innocent, but it's so evil. I love it. I also, speaking of evil mods, I was also thinking about using the vegetable garden fabrics, which makes it so, for instance, you are getting cotton from the field. In the Rimworld, you just get cloth. In this mod, you just get cotton flowers, and then you have to weave it at a loom. I'm like, should I Probably not, because this series is going to be a pain in the ass as it is. But if you want some deceptive difficulty, this is one of the mods that's great for it. And the other one is called Seeds Please. I would have used this, honestly I would have, but it's actually kind of incompatible with some of the mods we're using right now. So maybe in the future. This mod, I played at first, when I played the Rimworld for the first time, I used it because it seemed so immersive. And it is so immersive. You need seeds to plant anything. And if, for instance, your farm gets decimated by lightning or a raid, you are shit out of luck. And it adds so much difficulty. It's amazing. I really, really recommend it. If you have a mod list that can support it, try it. I played Rimworld without it for the first time afterwards, and I was like, oh my god, this is so easy. The game is so easy. So I would say, like, screw things like advanced mechanoid warfare. Just get VGP garden fabrics and get seeds, please. And you will cry. Also, softworm beds. The trifecta of evil. Okay, so I think that's kind of it, right? That's kind of it for the mods that are worth talking about. Obviously, I will be mentioning stuff as we go. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. That's probably the longest intro episode of anything, of ever, without a single speck of gameplay in it. But yeah, I think I'm done. Let's roll.